and give the login credential to the school.
Yeah, this is happening right now. It's happening in the United States. Go back and watch that video. Why do you think a school would need to track the menstruation of young women in the school band? They have a woman who is legitimately brain unalived in a hospital bed being used as an incubator for a child that they don't even know is going to survive. And they've just rolled back emergency schmabortion care for women. I'm not talking about choice. I'm talking about in the middle of an emergent crisis of that woman possibly losing the child, threatening her fertility, growing an ectopic pregnancy, going to the emergency room because it is a sudden and intense emergency, not a clinic. And they have now removed the rights from these doctors to perform these emergency abortions to save people's lives. This is The Handmaid's Tale. Tracking young women's menstruation leads to knowing when they're fertile. Why would they need to know if a young woman is fertile in high school? They are so concerned with the safety of women in washrooms and in change rooms, but they don't seem to care when officials need to know the fertility status of their children. Meanwhile, in court, a man named P. Diddy is being charged with heinous crimes against many women. And the felon in the White House, who was accused of the same types of things, and was best buds with a guy that was in jail for doing heinous things, and he joked about how he might pardon him regardless of what takes place. Women are now considered property. If you do not have a passport, you are not allowed to vote. And the rhetoric behind the scenes is that women shouldn't be working at all. They should just be staying at home to take care of the children. You got guys like Charlie Kirk going to universities to target 18 to 25-year-old young white males to convince them that young white men are oppressed and we need to blame the women for all of it. They teach that women aren't worthy of love. They teach enough that an 18-year-old told me that I was using up valuable resources like air, food, and water because I was unable to have children. This isn't a joke anymore. This isn't a scare tactic. This isn't a, oh, what if this ever happened? This isn't a dystopian society. This is happening right now. Right now, in real time, in 2025. And if you think we're safe from it because we're in Canada, you are sorely mistaken. The right-wing radicals are banding together both on our side of the border and south of us. And they are going to do everything in the next 4 years to convince the entire Canadian society that the libs have ruined everything. And if they do, exactly what will happen to us will be what happened to them. They let Trump do what he did. They gave the 4 years to Biden thinking everything would be okay. And then Trump got back in and they crawled out from under their rocks. And now they are decimating the rights and freedoms of women in their country. And just because Pierre lost this time doesn't mean he isn't going to try again. The Conservative Party of Canada is no longer your mom and dad's Conservative Party. They are a far-right extremist group that are banking on anger and division and hate to push their point across to get people to vote for them. Because if they can make you angry at the trans people and the immigrants and everybody else and call the news fake news, they're going to convince people over the next 4 years. This threat is not gone. So if you can make videos, make them. If you can stand and yell out loud in your neighborhood, do it. If you can volunteer for your local pride parade, do it. If you can help out at a women's shelter, do it. If you can donate money to a soup kitchen in your local area, do it. But what you truly need to do that's most important of all is when you hear that hate rhetoric being spoken, you stand against it. Growing up as a young girl, I was always taught, you don't talk about politics. It's not good to talk about politics. We should know our place as women and just keep our noses out of it. Whenever the grown-ups talked about politics, it was always the men. The women never got involved. Why do you think that is? Because politics have been designed to put women down since the beginning of time. Women have fought for years, decades, for equality. And it's only sliding backwards. And just because we're in Canada does not mean we are safe from that backward slide. There are people out there right now that are actively advocating to reverse those rights. In Alberta, right now, they are talking about banning books. Which person on which side of history ever did well banning books? The news media is complacent. They send out articles about trans athletes competing and how terrible it is. They send out articles about the last bombing that took place, or the last unalive at a school was an immigrant. Do you ever notice how all the news stories just sort of fit your narrative? You need to stop falling for the rage baiting. Understand that this is serious and it is coming for Canada. Now, I'm comfortable right now with Mark Carney in charge. I'm not as concerned things are going to hit that hard, but this is not a silent sleeper. This is going to fester over the next 4 years. And if we don't get rid of this, it's going to take over everything. So start yelling out loud. Start calling people out. Start calling people out on their hate rhetoric behavior. Start standing up for trans people. Start standing up for women. Start standing against domestic abuse. Because if we don't start getting loud, they're going to get louder. And we all know how loud they are already. It's time to wake up, ladies. Everything we have fought for is in danger right now. We are coming into our own. This fascist threat is the death rattle of it. They're all coming out of the woodwork because this is like their last push. And if we can just shove them down one last time, make them uncomfortable in their own skin, make them shrivel back under those rocks like they should. Because they've gotten way too loud and it needs to stop. Blessed be to all my Canadians.